Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Telling Tales. Here we tell atmospheric stories together through the medium of tabletop role-playing games. It is Monday evening, and we are playing Masks of Nyarlathotep with 7th edition Call of Cthulhu. Before we get started, let's discuss something. So below the stream are links to our social media, our Patreon, where if you enjoy what we do, you can support us, and our Discord, which you should join and come and chat with us and other people who are involved with and enjoy things on the channel. There is also the link to our other streaming services below the video. So if you're watching on Twitch, there'll be our YouTube, and if on YouTube, our Twitch. YouTube has all the VODs of everything that we've ever done on the channel. There are literally 5 hours of content on there. No, there's a lot. Masks. Last week was high action straight out of the gate. The group are currently in New York investigating the death of their good friend Jackson Elias, and off the back of that, also investigating some other things. And while looking into a place called Emerson Imports, which they had found a clue leading them to, there was a bit of a police chase, and there is a section of the New York Police Department that may be mildly corrupt and potentially in the pockets of the people responsible for the death of their friend. So, unfortunately, somebody got shot. But it was just a mild shooting. Well, it wasn't. It was a major. Anyway, it's not anymore. The tick's gone. Let's bring on Jack, who wasn't here last week and plays Ted and is quite upset about his abdomen.
I was gone 1 week. In all these weeks, Ted has managed to avoid getting his body fat sucked out of him. I think there was a sword fight. Narrowly avoided getting beaten by the cops. And then when I'm not there to keep him out of trouble, Justin, I am naming names, got him shot.
Ted's recovering nicely, though. The major wound tick is gone now.
The major wound tick has gone. And going by movie logic means he can do anything now.
Yeah, he's fine now. He's had the bit where he doesn't notice that he's shot or doesn't want to reveal that he's shot on stairs out of a window.
Everyone knows gunshots only register when you look down, open your jacket to reveal the wound. Before that, you can do anything, and that was his mistake, revealing it too early. Ted's he's just been shot, so he's not in a good way still. But he's sort of in too deep, I guess. Now it's not scared him off. Is the point I want to make? All it's done is embolden his need to get to the bottom of it, and maybe we look at other locations that have less shooty police. I don't know where that is in 1923, but there's got to be somewhere.
Cool. Let's bring on, Justin, who plays Mr. Farwell. That makes the most sense, doesn't it?
Classic. All I'm going to say, Jack, is are you really telling me that if I'd have gone to do something dangerous in the middle of the night, that Ted wouldn't have come with me?
No, that's a fair point. And as soon as when I was listening back, you said with my accomplice, I thought, yeah, here goes Ted.
And would you have run, or would you have turned yourself into the cops?
Yeah, no, definitely. Ted would run.
So I think I do feel bad about it. It was definitely my fault, but
maybe
would it have done any differently if you'd been here? Possibly not,
because Jonny was rolling the dice.
Yes, that's true. But we all know that Jonny isn't cursed. He did manage to get that shot after all. Anyway, that's enough of my apologetics around this situation. Anyway, no, Ted's fine, and because of that, Farwell is also very happy. Like, nothing even bad happened, really. Like, the gunshot wound will be a cool scar. It'll be fine. Do you need any more cups of tea, Ted? Anything I can get you at all? Anything? That pillow fluffing. What do you want? Like, let me know. Let me know. Not because I feel bad about it, but like,
was
I do
it
it
the
for
suggestion
anyone.
to go out for a smoke as well as part of his medical recovery?
Clear your lungs.
You've also helped Corporal Shane keep his skills sharp while out of the field.
That's true. That's true. He had to stay up all night, making sure I didn't accidentally slip and drop a pillow on top of Ted's head.
Or try to do your own first aid with that knife you've just got.
Look, the first aid roll. I'm not bad at first aid. I just happen to have rolled badly. I'm actually good first aid. My character's fine.
Cool. As is often the case, let's bring on Sam, who plays Mrs. Farwell.
That's the image of hello. That's the image of Wilfred, like knife jabbed into Ted. Someone looking over his shoulder. I'm saying.
I just like the thought of him getting dragged into the hotel room and someone going, "Oh no, he's been stabbed," and Mr. Farwell would be like, "Oh no, nothing as serious as that. He's been shot."
Oh my gosh! I just the whole like first, third, and last session, just witnessing this chaos, and also just thinking about poor Jonny, feeling bad for poor Jonny, who has to manage the whole. I'm playing a simulationist game, and I really can't kill Jack's character when Jack is not here, and then deal with Justin's insanity with those two things.
I believe Jonny would have done it.
I would have done it if the dice had given that to me. I'd have done it, and I could have given.
And I really do believe that.
I don't think I could kill a player character without them there, even though I'm quite simulationist too. I think it's anyway. Winifred's fine. I think probably not surprised, but definitely quite angry Wilfred. But yeah. Also, this is a situation that might have happened given all the run-ins we've already had and the dangerous stuff we're doing. I think it's just a shock that things have kind of escalated that much for her. Also, otherwise, a bit like hoping we can find kind of the key to break this all open soon, given how things are getting quite scary now. And I heard Justin when he said everything was fine, but there were police shooting at them, and I feel like those police don't go, "Oh well, guess that's the end of that then," and just forget about this, usually.
Yeah. Cool, thanks. Steve, who plays Edwin. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
As the as the most bound by the law member of the group, how does Edwin feel about everything that went off last session?
We have opened ourselves up to potential complications from a legal point of view. I had been thinking about a potential defense, and potentially, I mean, maybe Ted and Wilfred had been running from the police rather than, as they should have done, in a textbook legal sense, stop and talk to them, because of the corruption, because we have been targeted by members of the New York police force before. Who could really blame them for running away from such potential threats? I'm not sure it'll stand up in court, so I hope they won't sing. But
cool, thank you. And finally, John, who plays Merritt. Hey, John.
Hi, Johnny.
Yeah. How's Merritt feeling about everything?
I think a little bit frustrated might be the wrong term, but a little bit like we're getting a lot of answers, but none of the answers are answering the questions that we have. And we've sort of just lost an avenue of investigation via gunshot wound, which is not Mr. Farwell and Mr. Hobbs' fault at all. It's just the way it is. But it's also like we kind of can't go knocking on their door if one of our members got shot snooping around it. Maybe it seems like a bad place to go back to. So we're sort of running out of leads. And
I mean,
not
in
checking on
the
what
next day or
happened.
so, you know, maybe give it a couple of days.
Yeah, at least wait for a different shift of cops, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think they. I doubt they even got a good look at us. I doubt that they. I don't think they even think they
Was
got
dark.
Ted, because if they thought they'd got Ted, then they probably would have got after him and looked. I think that these cops are low risk. I hate to say completely oblivious. That feels like tempting fate, but you know, they don't seem to be like. I'm not super worried about them.
I think I'm worried because it depends on whether they were patrolling around the warehouse because they're beat cops, or if they were following you guys and waiting for you to do something incriminating.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
doubt.
sort of the difference in risk.
I think probably it's a docks. Cops at docks sounds like a thing that cops do. I guess.
Perfect 80s sitcom right there. Cops at docks.
Cops at docks.
Docks cops.
Yeah.
But that's just cops wearing Doc Martens. Nothing to do with shipyards.
Docks, cops at docks.
I'm not engaging with this.
If
I
you,
refuse.
What if you dox cops at docks?
I was gonna say, if you release their addresses online, then you're doxing the docks cops. And if they
Yeah.
live at the docks, then you're doxing the docks cops.
I
If
think if
you'd
we
like us
threaten
to
the
stop,
docks, these
please
cops,
send money immediately.
you know, they'll be like, what do you mean online? And they'll probably leave it there.
Anyway,
Sorry, Johnny.
no. I think I sort of encouraged that quite substantially. Things that are happening. So you have just finished reviewing Roger Carlyle's psychologist's notes at the Medical Affairs Board. So you got some information from that you may deem as mildly useful. And yeah, I'm not sure exactly what your next plans were. I don't think we'd actually discussed that.
Lunch. I remember it was lunch. That's the last thing I remember.
We've got our priorities straight.
I guess we head back to the hotel because we want to chat with, Ted and Corporal Shane, wouldn't we?
Yeah, so if you head back, Ted is sort of sitting on the edge of the bed when you come in. I think you'll be recovered to a point of, like it's mild discomfort probably to sit up now, but like there's mild discomfort wherever you sit because you've got a gunshot wound, and it's sort of not unless you when you've got that kind of thing where like you twist a certain way and it's like a shooting pain still, but for the most part it's like consistent,
Like
whatever position you're in.
Time, but then
Yeah.
if he moves, it'll twist or even coughs or sneezes or whatever. It's
So at the point, like if you were to stand, at the point that you were kind of hoiking yourself up, it would hurt. But then once you were up, it would just go back to the same sort of pain as it was before.
Well, that was very interesting. We went to read some of Mr. Carlyle's therapy notes, I suppose, from the Dr. Houston. Yes, surprisingly, we were just given access. And I think my main takeaway personally was his notes about this Miss Bonet. He called her priestess, Anastasia, Mueru. I think they were all in the same document. And yes, we all There was also mentions of like a queen or something to do with her. Anyway, I really feel like somehow she is the most important character in all of this, that his demeanor about these things changed because of her in some way. I think we need to find her if she's still here.
So she didn't go on the expedition. This is Jack asking group. We didn't see that she went on the expedition, did we? This Brunei.
Not to our knowledge, I don't think.
She wasn't named in the articles, but that may be
No.
because she was deemed less important than the other.
I suppose, yeah, Ted could ask that actually to the group. So we don't think she went on the expedition with Carlisle, do we? Have we heard anything about her after the expedition left out?
I would think a woman traveled from New York would be significant enough to mention if she disappeared on an expedition.
Not sure we have concrete evidence either way there.
Mm.
I mean, Erica didn't mention that, or Miss Carlisle didn't mention that she'd gone with them. I think she mentioned about her, didn't she? If I remember correctly.
She did, yes. Obviously,
She might
Dr.
have
Houston did. And it sounded from the accounts almost like Dr. Houston was, well, pressured or dared into it. Or, well, he had to go to prove her wrong to help Roger Carlyle, I suppose. I guess that didn't turn out very well.
Must have been a devoted doctor to travel halfway around the world with a patient.
Devoted or haunted by the same things that were haunting Carlyle at that point, perhaps.
It does seem from his last entry that perhaps at that point he was not there in a professional capacity.
Almost like he started to buy into the psychosis himself then, which maybe is a risk psychoanalysts face, but you think they'd be hardened against that sort of thing?
Psychosis or whatever this is. I'm in the belief there's something true to the base of it all, but certainly it seems to have pushed people's sanity at the same time.
I suppose what's our next step right now then? I mean, I'm not up to much, but I can maybe get down to the library and do some reading if needed. I think at this point Ted will maybe look at Corporal Shane to see his reaction to wanting to get out.
He's sort of happy for you to go. You know, he's a field medic. He's used to patching people up and sending them on the way. So yeah, he's pretty happy for you to go.
Doesn't sound like the dog is.
Corporal Shane, why do you just keep barking at us?
It's fine.
This would be a great time to find out Corporal Shane was the dog all along. And still a better doctor than all of us.
Well, we have a few. There are things that we could study. There's seeing if there's any more conventional information about the things we've learnt from Carlisle's books. I'm personally interested in this Montgomery Crompton to see if there's any more information about him. I'm curious about the word Mweru. It's not a language I'm personally familiar with, but it would be good to know whether it's a descriptor or a name, because we may be looking for an Mweru Bene or an Anastasia Bune, which having an extra name may make our search far easier.
Do you think this name Nitocris, which I feel like might be associated with her, given what we know so far, could also be something like that of a language? I mean, it sounds less likely to me, but you're the expert, Mr. Barton.
It's not a name I'm familiar with. Honestly, many of the names in what we've read are not things I'm familiar with, and I do not know the provenance of them. And that's quite interesting from a linguistic perspective. It either hints at an entire language or like family of languages that I do not know, or they are words that are completely made up and we are chasing fictions. And I would quite like to get to the bottom of which one it is.
Fascinating. We also talked to Mr. Ramsey, who has agreed to further investigate Juju House on our behalf, because I think we all agreed that it was a bit of a daunting prospect at this point with all of the interest that's drawn upon us to look into this further. So I suppose hopefully drops in or drops us a message soon about that.
I believe he is reaching out to the import company to
Oh yes, that's right.
inquire for a potentially legitimate business reason. It's a way in that hopefully won't get anyone shot, at least.
Look at Wilfred. Wilfred just looking out the window.
Yeah, I mean, I made decisions, I made plans. They didn't work out so well.
It happens. I think we have an appointment outside of New York. I want to say on Thursday, but I don't know what day of the week it currently is, and I might be imagining that we actually did that.
I don't think you had made any appointment. I think you had planned to go to the two places on the same day, Harvard and the Miskatonic. But I don't think you had planned a specific day. I think it was that you knew that it would be a long day if you wanted to do it in a day, or you would have to stay over.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, you're on secret mute.
We'd reached out to both Miriam Attright, who was the librarian, and Professor Anthony Cowles, who was the one who did the lecture on interesting Polynesian cults, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are the two. So we haven't got a date yet, but yes, we've kind of lined up to at least be in a position where we can meet them once we take a trip. I mean, I suppose it's worth checking the libraries to see if we can find anything out on this collection of names we've found. I'm not necessarily expecting to. I mean, having a more selective bunch of books to check would probably help us, but if we have some spare time, we can always do a little preliminary research.
I don't know about everyone else, but I suspect none of us want to do anything particularly exciting today. So perhaps the library is a sensible idea. And then maybe, I don't know, do you think we need an appointment to these universities, or do you think we could go and be able to organize a meeting once there?
It would at least be polite to arrange appointments. I think once we've checked travel times and train schedules.
Very well. We can wait and see what they say then, I suppose. A trip to the library after lunch then?
Yeah, that sounds good. I need to get out of this hotel room now.
As you head down, there is a telegram waiting for you. I don't know which one of you it would be particularly addressed to, but from Carlton Ramsey, and just says, EI, stop. Remembered Jay's visit and sorry to hear of his passing, stop. Seemed honest, stop. You know, you could go speak to Carlton, you know, if you needed more information, and this will be a letter saving exercise.
No, I was just thinking about the implications.
Which EI is this again?
Emerson
Emerson
Imports,
Imports.
presumably.
Right, yes. Did he
So
talk
if they-
to the company? And the company felt sad? I'm a little okay. That's also Farwell's response.
I mean, he hasn't told us to speak to him. It sounds like he's reached out to say, "Oh, I found this business card in my client's, belongings. Did he have any outstanding debts?" And they've gone,
That was what he said he was going to say, yeah.
"Yeah,
Yeah,
we
don't
know.
really
I'm
have
sorry to hear about his passing."
Exactly. We don't
really
really
know
know
what's
what's
seen
happened just
It
yet.
doesn't sound like they've offered. Oh, and also we showed him these chaos artifacts while we were here. It's
But if they
sounds
are an
token
honest,
response.
if they are actually an honest import company, then it means that we might just be able to talk to them without fearing for our lives or getting shot or breaking in.
What? How do we? Why are we on? I know. Like the Emerson Import stuff. Which clue did we get that?
That was
from?
the business card. Jackson Elias was found with a business card for Emerson Imports, the reverse side of which had the names Silas and Kwane on the back of it. And Silas is the main proprietor of Juju House.
I think we're kind of working on the assumption now that Juju
Yeah.
House is somewhere that brings in unusual things and artifacts from various places in Africa, and the import company is how they get that in. That's probably where we're all at, but we'll have to see.
Being paranoid, I'd kind of assumed that Emerson Imports was incredibly dodgy and staffed with cultists, but I suppose it's not entirely.
I mean, we have no way of knowing any of these things.
No, this is true.
We can either confirm or deny.
I mean, if we hang around outside long enough and none of us get murdered, then it's very hard to prove a negative, isn't it? That's the problem.
Some would say impossible. I mean, I could still go for a job there.
We could always just walk in and ask what exactly Jackson's visit was about.
It does seem odd that a author investigator like that would have much dealings, I guess, with the import company.
I'm just concerned that we've already been noted taking some interest in the area and investigating these things. Showing up there, I'd be very surprised if the things weren't connected up and they noticed that we were still on this trail of thought.
That is always
after
the
we've
risk.
been warned off.
Yes, that is always the risk, but we do need to, in order to provide evidence for names, Hilton Adams.
Mm-hmm.
We need to find some evidence against that signifies what Juju House is up to. If we can't,
at this point, I think we have to rely on Miss Carlyle's help to stall that case. We can't go jeopardizing ourselves any more than we already have, in my opinion, at this point. And we have a plan that is being enacted to help us investigate what's going on with the imports and, by extension, Juju House. Let's let that play out first and see where things end up. I feel. I glance at Ted's abdomen.
I understood that this may be the end of that, though. We have asked Carlton Ramsey to reach out to them, and he has done so, and this is the result. I feel like any further action is completely on us. And I also feel like if we are reluctant to move forward, then we might as well not be here. I don't want anyone getting shot or maimed or killed, but this investigation will have risks, and we must not let that deter us.
And
Well,
I think there's also a risk in doing nothing. You know, the choice not to act is also a choice. I don't think maybe Farwell says it in that way. That maybe he does. He has quite a high language score. Yeah, the choice not to act is also a choice that extends our period of time that we spend here, and brings us closer to the time where they decide to check in on us again, even if they haven't got any new leads that we're still in the area researching things.
Mrs. Farwell is glaring at both Wilfred and Mr. Barton, not saying anything with that sort of, you're both right, but I hate you for it. Well, perhaps more action will need to be taken, but for now, let's at least start with a quiet afternoon at the library and see where things take us, shall we?
How many is this the second day after Ted was shot?
This is the yeah.
This is the day after.
So depending on whether you went before or after midnight, it's either the same day or
okay. Well,
the
then
next day. Yeah.
The only thing I'd put to everyone is that we have no like daring idea, but the only time we can guarantee that we're not going to run into the cops again is today, because they're not going to work the shift directly after last night. So the safest time to be at the docks, you could argue, is right now.
It is a very good point.
So because
No,
we go another time, they could someone could be recognized as us.
It isn't. My husband is. It doesn't make any sense. There were some people trying to break in. They would clearly have extra security after they had people trying to break into the building.
If you've been trying to break into a place, would you knock on the door the next day? No, that would be stupid.
I think they're going to be keeping an eye on things more than usual, regardless.
To be fair, the actual specifics of what happened weren't necessarily that they were trying to break in. They were looking at where a power cable was running, and then they ran away from the police.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be said.
The logic here is people were here doing something dodgy. Now they've gone. I think all the police can not do their normal patrol routes in the area and leave it for a while.
I think Mr. Farwell was talking about those specific police officers who are likely to recognize the two Englishmen who are shouting at each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go back to those docks.
Yeah, it would be stupid for Ted with a bullet wound to turn up.
Out of the fact that it identifies me as somebody that was in the area last night, potentially. When
but Merritt and I should go back, is what I'm saying.
If we end up in that situation again, I failed at dodging the bullet, when I hadn't already been shot. I don't think I could take another bullet.
Oh, this is from another police shootout.
Yeah, exactly.
In another nation entirely. Unrelated.
So, yeah, for me, I think this afternoon, helping Mr. Barton get to the bottom of these names, I think is probably the best course of action for me.
Does anyone want to go back to the docks and try a more low stakes way of asking about these files?
I'm still trying to figure out what our angle would be. I mean,
I think if they've acknowledged they know who Jackson Elias is, then we can go over and say we're trying to settle his affairs, and that this card was something that we can look at. If they're really on the level, then
we could play it straight and ask about, can we look at their books for Juju House, because we think they might have had something to do with Jackson Elias's murder. But
why don't you go in as extra security? You heard there was trouble in the area last night.
Yeah. I like it.
Also, are your electronics okay?
No. that is almost sensible.
Oh my
We'll put
God.
tripwires in.
I love the idea of failing to break into somewhere just so that you can get in as extra security the next day.
It tracks. It does. Yeah,
Wheels
yeah,
and
yeah.
wheels.
Yeah.
Uh,
Later on down the line, when we're a few sort of chapters in, this will all be part of our sort of textbook strategy. Stage a failed break-in.
Ted
And
gets
then-
shot. Next
Yeah.
day, everyone else pretends to be security.
We could probably
Well,
skip
if
that
it works.
Yeah. The only thing I would want to do is find a way of having a look at their books, or we could just ask about was it Aquane?
Yeah, Silas and Kwane. Yes.
Yeah, ask about that. Like ask about Juju House. Ask about those that we could say that the things seem to be connected. It's not great. It's not great.
It is a high risk strategy. We would want somebody there, I think, with high psychology to spot if anybody's rumbling us.
I'm not
And
very
then-
good at talking to people.
I'm just so certain that they will immediately recognize who we are before we arrive, and they will spin whatever story is needed to be spun to get what they want out of us.
Well,
And I don't see any way that won't happen. And it just seems like we're giving them, by walking up there, we're giving them what they want. Heck, they might just attack you on sight and try and kidnap you at this point. Like, they know, the police know, and we have good evidence that they're connected to whatever's going on at Juju House and potentially this shipping company.
I mean,
I
we
know
could
it's a dock in broad daylight, but if you go inside the building, who knows what they do?
give it a couple of days and see whether Lieutenant Poole turns up anything.
Sure.
Information in his investigations.
Without somebody who's better at talking to and reading people, there's no point with Mr. Farwell going to do this kind of thing.
You can look at Winifred all you like; she's not agreeing.
That's fair enough. That as is your right.
Yes, perhaps it's an avenue best left until we are somewhat more desperate.
Sure.
So,
The library, then.
yes.
Very relieved that we're all going to the library.
What is everybody looking for at the library? And can you make me library use rolls? Also, please.
I think our main goal was to just try and get some history on these names, wasn't it? Or some information on the names. I don't know what else. Is there anything else we want to?
Trying to find if these names are referenced literally anywhere else apart from
Well-
those specific books.
We can split it up a bit, John, because I was specifically talking about Nitocris, was it? So I'll take Nitocris and kind of maybe if there's any other specific kind of names that stick out from the poetry or the style of the poetry, that's what I'll be looking at. I know it's unlikely it'll be in the library, but that's what I'll be doing.
And John, was it you were interested in Montgomery Crompton?
Yeah. I don't
mean,
know if
someone
the
else can
useful
check
thing
that
would
The
if
be
you
names, won't you?
trying to find the origin of some of the names, or at least like
Yeah.
a common language. Specifically, like my first focus will be looking at Mweru and trying to figure out what it means, and if it is a name. But yeah, again, just kind of generally looking to see. I mean, looking for Montgomery Crompton probably also falls into that. Just seeing if the things that we've read are referenced anywhere else. Do a roll.
If other people are deciding, I have made my roll and succeeded.
I got a hard success.
So much dog.
Corporal Shane.
This is the library, please. Can't take him anywhere.
So, John, you got a hard success on the name Mweru.
Yes.
Okay. You are pretty certain that it is of Kenyan origin.
That makes sense. And is it a full name or a surname?
A forename.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to guess we're looking for Mweru Bune.
And Sam, you got a success on.
Now I'm going to spend 1 point of luck because this seems like a fun thing to spend luck on to get to an extreme success because I was 1 point off at extreme. I was looking up Nitocris and also just generally the things from that poem other things from that poem that I remember, but Nitocris was the only thing I wrote down. I guess that's the key thing. I know it's very unlikely in real life, which is why I thought it'd be fun to do extreme success. But if it's still nothing, that's totally fine.
Okay.
It's nothing, then I'm really certain there's nothing in this library that references it.
So, obviously described as the dread ruler Nitocris in the thing that you read. So you have found in some you found in some Egyptian records that the last queen of the 6th dynasty of ancient Egypt was named Nitocris. There is there is a possibility that she is only a legend. And you're not sure why, having found some information in this sort of Egyptian history book, why, as you're sort of passing a different section of world history, there's like a Greek tradition book that calls out to you.
Interesting.
So you open a book which is by Herodotus, and in this book, she
That's actually quite impressive. You had that to hand.
She invites the murderers of her brother, who was the king of Egypt. Basically, she succeeded her brother. He had been the king of Egypt and had been put to death by his subjects, who then placed her on the throne. Then she constructed a large underground chamber, and claiming that she was inaugurating it through a banquet, inviting everyone who she deemed responsible for her brother's murder. And then while they were feasting, a large duct was opened, which allowed the waters of the Nile to flood the chamber. And then there is a theory that she ran into a burning room to avoid being basically killed by other conspirators.
Okay. So this is all like, history of Egypt within a book by Herodotus sort of thing. It's like ancient history for him, to be honest. And it's just presented as such. Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, she may not have been real according to these things, and this could all be essentially, folklore. But yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Interesting.
What are other people having a look at? If anything, perhaps you were just assisting with these.
Yeah, I think Ted was probably just more assisting than anything. My library use isn't that great.
If Ted is assisting, does that mean no? I should let Steve go first. Never mind.
I think I will be. There's two things. I'm not sure one of them would be a thing that Edwin would have actually thought of. So I'll study newspaper reports to see. So that flyer about Anthony Cowell's lecture, I will try to see if there was a write-up. If there's been anything in the papers that covered the lecture or Anthony Cowell's, I think that's what I'll do. And I should probably roll, really, if
Yes, please.
You could use the alternative GM strategy of you choose whether you succeed or not.
Would you like the quote? Would you like the quote on Necrotis from the book?
Oh, you found the quote on Night of
Yeah.
Crystal. Okay. I failed the roll, incidentally, so there we are. 47 over 40. Rubbish.
Well, he's got a good bit, which is in all that time, 330 generations, there were 18 Ethiopian kings and one native Egyptian queen, but the rest were all Egyptian men. The name of that queen was Nitocris, the same as that's the Babylonian queen. So there's some Babylonian stuff going on with that too. And that's basically what it's all about, really. There's an underground chamber, though in reality she had other plans. It's all right. That's great.
Nice.
I love the idea.
Does it mention?
You could actively get like spoiled for this campaign via real world library use of actual.
All I'm saying is you're looking at the same book that I'm looking at. So if it's got spoilers in it, you think you'd have seen it.
Okay, so is that Justin? What was Mr. Farwell?
I'm tying between, like, did I even go to the library and instead did I stake out Juju House, or did I go to the library and read about my books? And I think that I'm probably going to go to the library and read about. Has anyone covered the topic that I was supposed to be of the book that I was reading?
What was that? Oh, the book which book was that?
Originally, the one that was
the one bound in human skin or unknown skin, or
the
narcotic manuscripts.
Yeah,
narcotic. Yeah,
necrotic. Those ones. I can do some more. Anyone else? If no one else is doing a library roll on those scripts, then I can go and do one myself.
Sure.
Of which I rolled 18 under much more than 18, under 30. So that's not half. That's
Okay.
over half. Regular success. What's spooky is that this section of the Herodotus is like 4 pages from where I actually abandoned the book. Like, it's chunky.
If only you'd kept reading,
Yeah, exactly.
You don't find anything, Justin.
Totally reasonable. I'm pretty sure this book never existed.
Actually, I take that back. The only thing that you do find while you're looking through and cross-referencing names and such is that there is an archive in Australia named the Narcotic Archives. That's the only thing that you find that has reference to that name.
I'll mention it to anyone and say, if we ever go to Australia, let's check this place out.
Perhaps we can visit it on the way to Shanghai.
I mean, you never know. Ships can be so unreliable. You can get blown off course. Never know where you might end up.
So let's call it mid-afternoon.
So, was there anything for Steve's role?
No,
Steve failed his
that.
role. So he
Okay.
didn't find anything.
Team player, you know.
Do you know what? I'm going to be really kind. Since everybody else succeeded, let's say that Ted was assisting you. So if you roll another, let's give you a bonus die, Steve. So if you roll 10s
blimey.
again. Because I didn't
This
give anybody else that.
feels dangerously like pity.
You may still
okay.
fail, so it's not.
21. No, I succeed. I don't. It's
Okay.
just over half, so not. But,
Okay, nice. Yes, you do find a little write-up. When I find it.
you can use a bonus die if you like.
DM's library use rolls all require extreme successes, I think.
Yep, been there.
Okay, so this is in a sort of not a newspaper, almost like a journal,
Sure.
rather than a newspaper. But you find it through looking in the newspapers. It kind of says, for further information, it's been mentioned in this journal. So I will place this in the Dropbox for you all. But it says, 1. A bat cult once existed amongst the Aboriginal peoples of Australia. It was known across the continent, and the god of the cult was known as the father of all bats. Adherents believed that by making human sacrifices to their god, they themselves would become worthy enough that the father of all bats would appear to them. Once he was enticed to appear, the god would conquer all men. Sacrifices were run through a gauntlet of worshippers who struck the victims with clubs embedded with the sharp teeth of bats. The teeth were coated with a fast-acting poison, somehow derived from fermented bat droppings. The victims apparently went mad before they died. Leaders of the cult reputedly could take the forms of bat-winged snakes, enabling them to steal sacrifices from across the land. Cowles believes that this cult became dormant or extinct hundreds of years ago. Its former existence is the reason that he became interested in Jackson Elias's books about present-day cults. 2. An Aboriginal song cycle mentions a place where enormous beings gathered, somewhere in the west of Australia. The songs say that these gods, who were not at all like men, built great sleeping walls and dug great caves. but living winds blew down the gods and overthrew them, destroying their camp. When this happened, the way was open for the father of all bats, who came into the land and grew strong. 3. A set of 4 overexposed glass slides are shown here. Each shows a few sweating men standing beside enormous blocks of stone, pitted and eroded, but clearly dressed and formed for architectural purposes. Dim carvings seem to decorate some. Billows of sand are everywhere. The discoverer, one Arthur McWhirr of Port Hedland, Australia, kept a diary in which he recorded several attacks on the party by Aboriginals. McWhirr reportedly records deaths to victims from hundreds of small punctures reminiscent of the earlier bat cult. 4. Cowles tells a tale he collected from near the Arafura Sea in northern Australia. In it, Sandbat, or father of all bats, has a battle of wits with Rainbow Snake, the Aboriginal deification of water and the patron of life. Rainbow Snake succeeds in tricking and trapping Sandbat and his clan in the depths of a watery place from which Sandbat can only complain and is unable to return to trouble the people.
Great.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but that's blown it all wide open for me.
Put him in cuffs, boys. We got him.
It was the Batman.
I'm sorry, Johnny. I couldn't help it.
Yeah, I think Edwin will, having read this, slowly close the book and thoughtfully put it back on the shelf, and just sort of stand there quietly for a bit.
I suppose it is interesting that Cowles was a fan of Elias's, rather than what I assumed was Elias being a fan of Cowles.
Yes. It would be interesting to know just what particular story ignited Cowles' interest. But I'm not really sure how it directly relates to anything we have here.
Well, perhaps we could talk to Dr. Cowles.
Yes, I'm sure a direct conversation might be more illuminating.
Mrs. Farwell, do you still have your copies of Jackson's books with you?
Yes. Well, they are at the hotel room. I didn't bring them with me here.
I think I might like to maybe look through some of them tonight.
Of course.
I think we
What
may have.
particularly? I've read them all through. Is there a particular?
This is a very long shot, but we keep coming back to cults and mysteries and legends of Africa, of Egypt and Kenya, and I feel like we're missing a very important resource on ancient cults of the world. I'm wondering whether maybe Jackson wrote anything in any way adjacent to any of this that maybe we didn't pick up on before, but anything in his books about African cults.
Johnny, would
Maybe
I
there's
be
something
okay
in
to?
there.
Sorry, John.
No.
Just assuming I've read all of Jackson's books fairly thoroughly, can I just, what would I say in response to? I mean, I'm assuming Mr. Barton's probably read them to a certain extent too, but what would I say in response to that? Like, how much did he write about Africa? Is there a particular reference that this conversation is bringing to mind? Obviously, nothing about exactly this stuff because he was investigating it for a new book, but his other writings, have they in any way connected with Egypt or anything like that? We're looking into now.
No, not other than sort of passing mention of, maybe this is similar to this one that's also here, but not they're not. None of them are the level of research. They're not the main point of the book. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, I'll embark. I just don't. I've read them all quite thoroughly, and I don't think anything really connects with this other than the region and obviously being of the mysterious. To be honest, I'm not sure there's a lot more to gain from it.
That did seem like it would be too convenient.
Indeed. Would be helpful though, wouldn't it? Look, I know it's completely crazy, but what's on your mind, Mr. Barton? You look like you have an idea.
Wasn't there something in Peru, a legend about some sort of hero trapping an evil under the lake?
That was, well, the evil I thought we discovered, wasn't it? And it wasn't under a lake, it was trapped in a chamber or something.
There was the pyramid, but I'm sure I remember someone telling us.
I think that's right. In the when you guys were up in, I don't think I was there that session, but when
it was tricking the creature.
Happened.
It was tricking the creature into that chamber underground. Was kind of what I thought it was. It was that was what the story was about.
I think I'm just trying to look for similarities.
I don't remember it being underwater, but I'm not 100% no. I think I might say this to Mr. Barton.
It was an armadillo burrow, which was a phrase I didn't think I'd say tonight, but there we are.
Episode title right there.
Trickster Hero told it about, nutritious food, grubs, trapped it in an armadillo burrow, which was the site of the temple. They built a temple on it. Wise people avoid the tomb.
Now, for those watching, that is roleplay players' notes going on right there. Very neat.
I think I'm just trying to look for patterns.
Understandable, though. I mean, to a certain extent, it wouldn't surprise me if there's patterns in the mysterious ways of things, but I don't think it's the same anyway. The one pattern I am inclined to draw, and this might be completely crazy, but we've seen this happen before with people living for centuries, or living in a sense, with those creatures that turn to dust that, well, as far as we know, were originally conquistadors. I have a horrible feeling that this Nitocris is still alive in some way. And I don't know why, but I really feel like it might be this woman. I don't really have any evidence for it. It's just a suspicion, I suppose.
That is far-fetched.
And also disturbing.
Very disturbing. I mean, I agree. It's not. There's many explanations, and it seems very unlikely, but it's not necessarily far-fetched, Wilfred, after what we've seen, is it?
I guess not. But anyone who's there, this is more of I guess not. I'm not having this argument than I guess not. I agree with the point.
I accept that we don't have any evidence. Well, nothing to substantiate that anyway.
But there's been very little evidence for lots of these things.
And we still don't know why Roger Carlyle was targeted. It seems, I think, by he had these dreams before he started looking into. At least he had these dreams before he contacted Faraz Najjar for the when he was seeking certain knowledge of this land and its distant past. That so we don't yet know what kicked this all off.
This is exactly what I was wondering about earlier. It seems to me that whatever first set Roger Carlyle on this path is really the key to everything we need to discover. And I wonder if it's going to revolve around this woman. Certainly from Carlyle's diary, that implied it does, but you're right. It's not that he met her first or anything, or we don't have any indication of that.
A question for Jonny. There is a lead that I disregarded because I got my history completely messed up. But
Okay.
would someone in 1920 reading the name Anastasia also go to like Anastasia Romanov, or would there be a different potential? Like, does it have any connotations at this point in history? Or are they maybe talking about the 1990s pop star Anastasia?
I mean, it had not. I googled this as well just to sort of see would that have any link, and that, well, yeah, she
It's
was
recent.
killed 1990.
Yeah, it's current.
So
It's relatively current, so it's probably
Yeah.
more on our minds.
A lot of the pretenders, or like the most famous pretender, sort of popped up around 1920ish. So for some reason in my head, I was like, no, the Russian monarchy weren't deposed until the late 1920s. I got mixed up. It's fine.
Yes, that is, but I would
it
say
is also just a name. That's
It's
Yeah.
true.
How's your Greek, John?
Ooh, I don't think I have it in my list.
Okay.
So no.
To be fair, anyone who studies languages, it's one of those things you learn, and this is definitely, obviously not a thing you should get in a mechanical sense, but
not knowing Greek, yeah, ancient Greek or whatever is for a linguist is like not knowing how to make toast for a chef, surely.
Hey, I speak Latin. That's good enough.
if you actually put Latin on your character sheet, fair enough.
I have Spanish,
Yeah,
French,
fair.
Latin, English, Quechua, and Arabic.
Imagine if you just forgot English and you're constantly having to speak.
I think you get that for
Latin.
free, to be fair.
Only if
You still have a 1% chance of being able to read the Greek, and
That's true, Jonny.
you're never going to get better at learning Greek unless you give it a go.
You can roll to see if you know something.
We can
sort of
all
in
roll.
passing.
Oh my god. That's officially 5%. That's how that works.
24.
Fudge.
Gonna spend 23 luck.
Yeah.
No. All right. That was an aside. I wanted to know if it had the same cultural reference that I took from it.
Yes, you would be aware of that. But I don't know whether you would think
Automatically go to it.
it must be them, or must have something to do with them necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Secret mute, Steve.
Dear God. I suppose if one was to spend more time in the library, this is kind of clutching at straws, but given that Roger Carlyle was, in the news, famous, watched by the various newspapers for his particular activities, perhaps we could go back and just one person go off and spend some time cataloging what the papers were reporting he was up to around the time that he started acting weird. Perhaps people saw him
Yeah.
with.
That's a good point. We have a pretty good timescale of that now with like
We
his
do
notes
with the
from
yes,
Dr. Robert Houston, so we could kind of investigate, a 6-month or year period. And
yeah.
try and figure
So the
out if there was
dreams
anything we could use.
were January 1918, but September was when he was referring to Mweru Anastasia, my priestess. So that is just something to
around
consider
the turn of 1917, if there's anything around then, basically. It's a good idea. Yeah, I in character, Miss Farwell is very much interested in doing that. Looking at the old papers, then I guess I'll do that.
I mean, if that's something we can tack onto this particular session, I'm fine doing that. If not,
there's
we
no
can come
limit
back
for
later.
library, right? I mean, Mrs. Farwell is very keen for us all to stay in the nice, safe library. So,
yeah. Do you want to make another library use roll, Sam? Since you're sort of looking at, and like, are other people also doing?
I
this,
will.
or,
I will
you-
assist. I will assist.
well, I will need that assist, so I'll re-roll just over. Oh, that's 4 points over. I'm spending luck for that. There we go.
What anyone spending luck, I'm sincerely concerned about.
But what's we're in
quite a lot of luck.
You won't if you keep spending it this way.
Well, we know as long as we don't get down to 27 luck, we're better than you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I passed.
I should check out
Okay.
what I've got before I mouth off. 47, I'm fine.
So you're looking for? Did you say sort of up to September 1918?
I think I'm focused on the period when he started having dreams, so I'm focused around the end of 1917, early 1918. But yeah, if I don't find anything, I would probably continue. But that's kind of when the core bit is.
Because we know
when
it's
all
March.
started.
It's March 1919 where he's written to that Faraz Najir
Mhm.
on the streets of Jackals about artifacts. So that is probably the cutoff point of.
Yeah, but starting as early as maybe when the dreams first started, or if something just before that.
Okay. So there's not a huge amount that you find to do with Carlisle, other than standard sort of business things, or he's been seen at this, gala, etc. In passing, you happen across that on the 16th of March, 1918, Imelda Bosch, who had potential romantic ties to Dr. Houston, took her own life.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. Is that during a period when Dr. Houston was treating Roger Carlyle?
Yes.
Do we know? It is, okay.
A couple of months after they met. First session was January that year.
Interesting.
Which makes me wonder about the blackmail.
Yeah, that's true. He was effectively blackmailed into all this, wasn't he? And there was quite a gap between that and the last, just before they went on the expedition. And Dr. Houston was apparently relatively calm and still ongoing with his. It wasn't like he seemed to be in a state or anything. So, I know you've already given me all the information, Johnny, but presumably I don't see any obvious big Egyptology fair or anything like that.
No.
Yeah,
He's not seen in public with, anybody who would match sort of a queenly
No.
or a sandbat.
Oh yeah, now you mention it, there is. Yeah. I think I'll just, while looking through the paper, just point out to Mr. Price. Well, nothing really that suggests anything to do with Mr. Carlyle, but look at this, and point at the article from the 16th of March, 1918, or just, I suppose, a note, probably not a big thing. Just says, it says that she was involved in some way with Dr. Houston. Perhaps there's nothing to do with all this, but it seems like a bit of a coincidence.
The other, I'd like you to make me another roll, Sam.
Yeah.
Or do I? Maybe I just.
So it's really something surprising, like a swing roll.
Somebody's opened a secret duct in the waters of the Nile. Have come into the library. No, I'll just say actually, it was the thing that you found about that was sort of tucked away and only in one paper.
Okay.
Which you wonder if that was a little strange.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's maybe a point to discuss, and I'll be like, and I mean, does it seem a bit like this was? Someone was trying to sweep it under the carpet. Dr. Houston, perhaps, or someone else. Starting to wonder if. Oh, I don't dare want to think about it.
Well, it's another potential puzzle piece. I'm not sure how many of these are making up the same picture, but it is something that's somewhat mysterious.
And a relatively safe place to investigate for us at this point. Perhaps there's some family or someone we could speak to.
Potentially, yes.
I'll briefly note the names of everyone else as well.
Can I have that name one more time?
Imelda Bosch. And that was the 16th of March, 1918, in case anybody wants to... has a timeline that they want to place things
keeping
into.
somewhat of a timeline, yes. I like how we're investigating all of the peripheral stuff and totally refusing to go near Juju House. I mean, it is.
You spot a shiny vase, and you've got to look at that shiny vase.
I'd go today.
Yes, but would you come back? Is the question.
Does it matter at this stage?
It does to me. So stop it.
It might be worth walking past it to see if there's something happening. Like, we have been told that occasionally they have late night gatherings.
Yes. Did we track down? It was once a month, wasn't it? Did we track down that it had anything to do with the moon's phase, or was that just something I assumed that it would happen at full moon or something?
I can't. I haven't got a note that you found that.
That's a terrible question of me to ask a GM, because
I think I remember us asking it, and maybe Hilton saying that he could never figure out a pattern.
Right. I mean, I suppose if one was proficient at avoiding. Oh, I don't want to suggest this though.
Don't you?
No.
Terrible, death-defying thing.
I think Hilton may have said that he didn't manage to scope out for long enough to figure it out.
It is January, isn't it? So anybody walking around at night could be forgiven for bundling up in suitably camouflaging outerwear.
Absolutely.
Edward Bryce wondering if it's cold enough for a balaclava.
I don't know.
Unless we somehow plan to seriously look into disguising ourselves as other people and going in during the daytime, as others would, to really investigate what this place is selling, I don't think we can go near the place. Now, if someone wants to try that, they're welcome to.
But it sounds like something interesting happens at night.
I mean, we have the abandoned store nearby if we did want to stake out. But without knowing when, it's once a month we could be there. It could have happened last night. We could still be looking for a month.
Jonny, am I right in remembering that Hilton Adams' wife had one of the red scarves that she gave us?
Was it given to us, or was
Can't
it just
remember if
found
she
as
still got it.
evidence? Because it was using it as a.
Oh, she
It's
got evidence.
Yeah.
That's
If you're
right.
thinking of using it as a disguise, we could just buy a red scarf.
It's just on my mind.
Well, I presume we're wrapping things up at the library here. If no one else has.
I wouldn't mind, while you are doing your roles about Carlisle, also doing a role for Montgomery Crompton, if I could.
Yes, sure.
Oh, that's a fail. Yeah. Never mind then. In that
I
case,
mean, if we're doing another, say we've done 2 rounds of library use, and this might be a bit cheeky, but now, from reading, I've been sort of skimming over Anastasia's Wikipedia page now. And I don't know whether this is too metagaming or what, but can I do a role of thinking the timeline sort of matches up of the expedition being 1918? She was killed July 1917. Why we're in the library? Why the hell not? I'm probably not going to get anything out of it anyway. Is that okay with you, Jonny?
You can roll, yeah.
Okay.
she was actually murdered in 1918.
That was a 67 over 20, so I'm not spending all my luck on
that. Anything else anybody wants to look for in the library while you are here?
Not from me.
Nothing that really jumps out.
Okay. I'm going to say by the time you've done all that, it's dark out, and you're probably starting to feel the sort of pangs of hunger again, getting towards dinner time. But yeah, what do you want to do now?
This place looks nice. Shall we stop for some food? Famished after all that reading.
Yes. I think staying out a bit later would be a good idea. And then it may be restlessness that is making me rash, but I would not be opposed to walking past Juju House just to see if there's anything.
The last time we walked past Juju House at the middle of the night, was it all shut up, Jonny?
Yes. Yeah. There was there was the pawn shop, I think, like disused, that you managed to get into. And I think there was like a drunk in the sort of square bit. But yeah, the Juju House store itself was closed.
I don't know what we'll achieve. I mean, these places aren't normally open in the night, and if they are, I don't think we're likely to have much luck suddenly stumbling across an evil gang of ne'er-do-wells without rather terrible things happening to us, particularly since they're probably on the lookout for us already. Last time we tried this, you were confronted by the police here. What other plan do we have?
I mean, that is almost a point. I'm not sure we just I really wish we can find some way of. We need to convince the police that something is going on.
What if we at least, if we jump in a cab and we ask the cabbie, or the cab driver to take us by that way, we see if it's open, but we're going by that way and we're on the move anyway. It's not like we're walking there. We're not going to be able to. A cab driving by it isn't going to be unusual, rather than a group of us walking by and peering in.
Yes, that is
looking. That seems the best compromise. We check it out tonight at least and see if anything's going on and keep ourselves out of harm's way.
Sounds a much safer idea. I'm happy to call us a cab after the meal, then, if that's I guess what we do. So are we like gonna ask to go somewhere, or just see if they're open, and then if not, bring us back, sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we're strange English tourists asking to go by it. I don't think. Assuming we're not, what is it? It's like an art shop, isn't it? So.
Well, still worth bearing in mind that myself and Mr. Barton our cab was stopped in the road previously, so we're not necessarily immune, but nonetheless a better plan, I think. And if we're staying in the cab, I'm keen to come.
Jonny, the theatre wasn't near Juju House, was it? The theatre where we met Mrs. Adams? Millie.
Let me just check the map. Because I actually can't remember.
This is, of course, something we could do. We could sit down with a map and look at, look at the area, get to know it, look for landmarks. That is something we could do. That is something we should probably do.
I presume there's not like a safe version to put in the Dropbox, is there, Jonny? So we could have a look.
Or even an unsafe one.
Like marked here and.
Where?
I can't remember whether the intro has the New York map on it or not, actually.
Hmm.
I have to scroll back and watch it.
Put it on the background now. We can. On my portrait.
To be fair, depending on which were you using the New York Public Library, because that's not very far away, so you could have actually sort of stopped for food somewhere reasonably
Sure.
nearby and potentially walked past it instead. Or you could get a cab if that is like
Yep.
you know, an integral part of your plan. But you
If it's near the library, is it sort of like a reputable, normal part of town that would be relatively busy even on a cold evening? Then people walking to places.
Yeah, you're sort of you're just a couple of blocks away from the area known as Little Africa. So there are sort of what I guess you would now call sort of street food places, like African diners there, serving authentic African food, which would be quite lively on an evening. And that's sort of just across Lenox Avenue. Which is sort of running up the middle of the... So you're on West 135th for the library. And then you're kind of across Lenox Ave and up 2 streets for Juju House. So it's not super far away.
Could we slightly retcon, given the new location information? Maybe we had a conversation about it in the library. So, shall we eat somewhere close by and use it as an opportunity with a very rational excuse?
That would make sense.
And you could have taken the wrong way because it's kind of away from where you would go home, but it's relatively easy to say, oh, you were just trying to hail a cab or whatever. And so yeah, if you want to pass it on foot, then you can. I think Ted and Ted and Mr. Farwell that went to the pawn shop previously?
Yeah, Ted definitely did.
So you would know from if you went in from West 137th Street, which is you would need to go into Ransom Court to be able to see the buildings, which is that little square that you went into before. But they are like the shop fronts. And then you can see what's essentially the back of the buildings, you imagine, although you haven't been down there, from West 138th Street. So observing those buildings from the back, as long as they are as you think they would be, it would be easier to explain away. You could say you've gone the wrong way and gone into Ransom Court, but yeah, it would be a little bit more of a... Does that make sense? You'd be sort of almost down an alleyway where there are only these 2 buildings. Whereas if you're on West 138th, although they're not the storefronts, you'd be able to see if there's lights on and that kind of thing. And then maybe you could think, oh, we'll go around the other side if you wanted to investigate further. But that's up to you guys. I'm just giving you the info.
But we also take the opportunity while we're eating, maybe if we're very close by to Juju, to maybe ask the patron of the place we're staying while we're eating about the place, just in a very touristy sense.
Yeah, that seems
I hear there's an interesting art place nearby. What's going on there? When are their opening times? So I guess I would.
Yeah. So are you asking?
Yeah, I think I will ask.
As long as we haven't gone to eat in that Mabel's saloon, or that would be bad.
I'm assuming you haven't. Okay, here's a question: Would you choose to go to an African restaurant, thinking that they may know them better, or would you go to a non-African restaurant, thinking they might not know them better?
I
or
mean,
both.
the
Just get starters.
I think African restaurants. That's my vote.
group decides. Yeah, I think I would also maybe lean towards African restaurant.
Let's ask them after we've had the main course.
Yeah,
So they haven't poisoned it.
Oh, a bit heavy for running though.
Well, no, true. Yeah. So many factors you have to consider.
Constitution rolls for everyone. No. Okay. Yeah. You have a delicious meal.
What do we have?
And you have a goat curry.
Ooh.
Yeah, but like greatest of all time, obviously. But like.
Oh God. Okay. So, are you asking the serving staff, Sam? And is are you asking? Is
yeah, I
Mrs.
think so.
Farwell
Very
asking?
casually, just oh, I've heard of this place called Juju House. I wanted to have a visit, see some of their interesting arts, but I don't really know what they have there and what their opening times are. Do you have any interesting stories to share of the place, or any information that might help me?
We would also have been watching out for people with red scarves. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. Okay.
The whole place, everyone in here.
They make me a charm roll, please, Sam.
Let me see what charm I have. Not good. Could I make the case for persuade, or is it staying a charm?
It's going to be a charm roll, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Well, maybe I'll get a nice tick or something. Oh, come on. I'm another one where I've just failed. Am I spending more luck? Should I spend another 4 points of luck in one session, folks?
Yes, it's fine. Who needs
Okay.
luck?
I got 55 luck, and I still got a shot. So
I now have 55 luck. I had a lot more before I started this session.
You're on mute.
Okay.
Just
I have passed. Do I get a tick if I spent luck?
Yeah, I think so.
I do. Oh, okay, that's nice.
I think you do. Yeah. I'm happy to say yes. You still have succeeded on it.
Fine.
Okay.
there's no box to tick for luck. You can't tick luck. Luck isn't a skill. It's
Oh
still
no,
reserved.
but the charm roll.
Oh yeah.
Tick the charm roll.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this person looks a little. They've been very cheerful with you throughout the course of providing the food.
Here we go.
And when you ask about Juju House, when you initially say, "Oh, what are their sort of opening hours?" They look a little less cheerful, but answer your questions. And then, did you ask if there was anything more, sort of like any experiences with the?
Any stories I should hear about the place? Any stories to tell? Very, very casual, cheery, touristy.
Yeah. So this woman who's been serving you through the evening says, "Well, my My friend lives in the tenement blocks behind, and apparently they once a month when it is dark out, there are strange people who go in there at night, and noises have woken them sometimes.
Gosh, that sounds very dramatic. Noises?
Sometimes there is more than one meeting a month, but those seem to have less people and not be on specific days and times.
This isn't some sort of evening opening with an event or something?
I certainly don't believe so.
Oh. Well, thank you very much anyway. Interesting.
Have a safe evening.
I think I'll come back to the table and
I don't like that.
relay the. Well, that confirms the monthly meetings. It seems they're still going on, sometimes more than once a month, perhaps. It's safe to say, bad vibes around Juju House, which I suppose isn't particularly surprising. Not bad vibes. That's not wording that I would use, but you know what I mean.
Sam, will you make me an idea roll for Mrs. Farwell?
Yes, I can do that.
On an unrelated matter, Johnny, what stage of the lunar cycle are we at?
Don't even know if it connects.
How did you roll, Sam?
Oh, yeah, 44. I passed.
Okay. Yeah, you assume that when she says when it's dark out, she means at the dark of the moon.
It
Yeah.
relates.
That's what you assume.
Yeah.
And that would be in 3 days' time.
Cool.
It's
cool.
the 24th going
Oh
into the
no!
25th.
I will-
We have a deadline.
Then I will sigh, and then I will go, and I strongly suspect that they will be meeting in 3 nights' time at the dark.
And we'll leave it there.
Be careful what you wish for.
One thing I've been trying to make us not do. We're going to get killed.
You
I
could
mean,
just make up a
no.
date. Say, "Oh no, it's not for 2 weeks."
What would the chances be that at this meeting something really important is going to happen that we shouldn't
My
miss?
character actively sabotages it just because I actually care about the other characters and don't want them to die. I'm just like, no, we should not do this. Yeah, it's 17 days. Also, they meet on the other side of town.
If we don't break into this one, we're going to have to wait a whole lunar cycle before we can break into the next one. That's if the world is still here after the next one.
Oh, gosh. We're so not prepared to break into that place.
It sounds like what we need to do is send Miss Farwell off to these universities, and then the rest of us will just break in.
Just look at how well we're trying to get into a warehouse. We didn't even get to the point where we were starting to think about getting to the warehouse. And now we're talking about like when they're doing. Oh,
We don't have to break in. We could just stake
Honestly.
it out. But, you know, we're not going to find out much from outside.
If we were people who made good decisions in life, we wouldn't be in a Masks of Nyarlathotep campaign.
it's true.
That's
Let
not even
us
the characters,
not
that just
forget,
is.
we are the people who saw an advert in the newspaper to go, let's go find a forgotten pyramid in the wilds of Peru, and went, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
That sounds like a
I
good
mean,
holiday.
That's
I
one
feel
for
like
me.
in the first-
Yeah.
In the first like episode or two, we just couldn't have had more red flags, and yet went, yeah, it seems like a good idea.
It's like, well, maybe this is what expeditions to Lost Pyramids are like.
And have any of us ever been to New York before? Our characters. Maybe this is just what
I
New
mean,
York's like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fair.
you know, Americans do things differently to us.
Mhm.
But at least, like, if it's in 3 days' time, in gameplay time for us, that's probably about 4 months. So
Plenty of
I
planning
just going
time.
to worry about this.
A little while.
Oh.
Cool. Cheers, everyone. If you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat. I believe that we are all ahead for playing next week. So we will be back at 8 p.m. next Monday, the 28th. That's 8 p.m. Are we on UTC now? No, we're on BST.
Still
It's
British
on BST
summertime. Yeah.
until October.
Yeah. I forget which things happen.
So again, once you've done the Juju House night, that probably be when we switch.
8 p.m. BST next Monday. We will do some more of this. Dessert, I suppose, will be the first port of call. Links to everything below the stream. Anything good in the chat, John? Next time we'll just get absent players' mobile numbers and call them up as their characters die. Yeah. Sorry again, Jack.
I didn't die, or Ted didn't die.
You didn't, no. Only like
this
50%.
time.
I think you could time how long it takes them to answer the phone, and the longer it takes them to answer, that's their role. That's the number of seconds.
It's 1 hit point per ring.
Sure, yeah.
That's the damage. Yeah.
I did also just like.
Are they losing? Yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
pop up in the chat,
Right.
and I had to.
That was 100% Max Writer's arrival, wasn't it?
Yeah. I also wanted to throw this one out at the beginning.
So Sam wants to look his players in the eye as he kills them. Yeah,
Seems only fair.
it is fair. Yeah,
And fun.
GMing does have some benefits.
It is like simultaneously the worst and best bit of GMing, I think. Killing a fair character.
I think I've only ever done it by agreement. Like I ran a second lot of something, and everybody carried their characters over, and the character that somebody had from the first time around, they didn't want to play them anymore. So it was a surprise to the other players at the end of the first session that character died, but the player already knew that they were going to die. It was a narrative device rather than a result of a roll.
I mean, you've done it to us, but it counts as end of story stuff, so that's different, I suppose.
And we don't know who.
Yeah.
You know, we still don't know who.
I had to retcon a TPK in Deadlands because one of the players was very fond of carrying around large amounts of dynamite on their person, despite this being a game that explicitly says if you get shot in the place that has the dynamite, you will explode.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We will catch you next week. Links to everything below the video. And thanks for joining us.